Virago jena purusho Bhagavan sarvado bhavet Achaksha jivalokasya Yidha mama shangshriti. Please chant. Detached. Yena, by which Purushaha, a person. Bhagavan, my dear Lord. Sarvata, completely. Bhavet, may become. Achaksha, please describe. Jivalokasya, for the people in general. Vividha, manifold. Mama, for myself. Shangshriti, repetition of birth and death. Translation and purport by ISKCON Pratishthat Acharya Krishna Prabha Srimati Shurabhai Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada. Devahudi continued. My dear Lord, please also describe. Devahudi continued. My dear Lord, please also describe in detail, both for me and for people in general, the continual process of birth and death. For by hearing of such calamities, we may become detached from the activities of this material world. In this verse, the word Samshruti is very important. Shreya Shruti means the prosperous path of advancement toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Shangshruti means the continued journey on the path of birth and death toward the darkest region of material existence. People who have no knowledge of this material world, God, and their actual intimate relationship with Him, are actually going to the darkest region of material existence in the name of progress in the material advancement of civilization. To enter the darkest region of material existence means to enter into a species of life other than the human species. Ignorant men do not know that after this life they are completely under the grip of material nature and will be offered a life which may not be very congenial. How a living entity gets different kinds of bodies will be explained in the next chapter. This continual change of bodies in birth and death is called Samsara. Devahuti requests her glorious son, Kapila Muni, to explain about this continued journey to impress upon the conditioned souls that they are undergoing a path of degradation by not understanding the path of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, Prabhupada Ki, Srimad Bhagavatam. Devahuti requests her glorious son, Kapil Muni, is Bhagavan, Kapil Dev, to explain about the continued journey to impress upon the conditioned soul that they are undergoing a path of degradation, to impress on Agyana, Ogyan, Timirandasya. We're all born in ignorance. Recently I was with Mathuradesh devotees, Mathuradesh. We were going on Chardam Jatra. And we were going to Kedarnath. And anyone been Kedarnath? It's a difficult place to achieve, to reach Kedarnath. Difficult place to achieve. So we were there, we were taking the helicopter, chopper. 120 devotees on that yatra. So only 9 of them made it out of the 120. Only 9 of them made it. And all the others couldn't get that flight because of the weather. So there we were all day. We were sitting in a little waiting room where you get to wait for the helicopter. All day, just waiting and hoping that the weather would clear so we could get, but we didn't get. But as I was sitting there, so a long time, and I began to reflect, wow, how did I end up here? Well, I reflected on my childhood, my background. Just a suburb in Melbourne, going to school. And now here I am, halfway up the Himalayas with these people who I do have. And sitting intimately, drinking hot milk, chatting with them. And they're comfortable, and I'm quite comfortable. And I'm thinking, how this change, the complete change in character. That person that in my youth, childhood, neighbourhood, Melbourne, is nothing left. Nothing left. Nothing left of that identity. Completely changed. In every aspect. Social, intellectual, cultural, spirit, complete revolution. You could not ever imagine seeing that person in the suburbs in Melbourne. That will be halfway up the Himalayas with some Tirtha Jatris drinking hot milk, chatting about Mahadev's glories. So, of course, this is the Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Andolan. It's Eman Shaktishali. It's so powerful. But we were discussing the other night in Bhakti Shastri, Trivir Gunamayi Bhava Yebi Sharvamidam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mamedyam Paramapayam, that everybody Evam Sharvam Jagat, everyone in the universe is Mohitam. Mohitam means bewildered, in illusion. I was there in the suburbs, Melbourne, going to school. I used to go to school, I had a big family, 6 brothers and sisters, the whole life, the whole thing. But actually, Asatya Satta Kurimani, Narottam Das Thakur sings that the temporary Asatya Satta Muni Kuri. This is not actually our real identity. Asatya Satta Muni Kuri. But we accept it as real. And we think that there's nothing beyond that. We couldn't imagine anything beyond that temporary family existence that we're born into. And most people simply just remain in that bewildered condition and live in life. And I remember I was there when my father was passing away. I was a devotee at that time. I had become a devotee. And so I was observing the whole experience. Not that we're not affected, not that we don't get affected. Mahaprabhu is, when he came back from Gaya, Dham, and news was given that Loki Devi had left her body. That's a whole exquisite Leela actually, Loki Devi. How she was unable, she simply cried all night. And she wouldn't tell anybody. She was the descriptions of the way Loki Devi served Mahaprabhu. She would cook the prasadam, and then she would sit in the other room and just look through the crack in the door while Shachi Mata served, Shachi Nandan, Navadip Chandra served him the prasad, and then he would enjoy the items. And Loki Devi herself, she was so what's the word? So submissive that she wouldn't even serve the prasad. Sachimata would serve, but she would cook and look from the place. And she would take bath in Ganga 3 times a day. So pure. And simply serve Mahaprabhu in such a faithful and devoted way. And Mahaprabhu, Gaurashunda, he was very pleased with her seva, but he never mentioned it. It's not like, she cooked and then she said, so, what do you think? You liked it? Nothing like that. The appreciation is very important to us. And generally without being appreciated, and oftentimes without being appreciated publicly, we're not, it's a very subtle thing, it motivates us. But no even appreciation. But she wasn't dependent on that. And then when he left for teaching in Bangladesh, teaching Mahaprabhu, he was Nimai Pandit, he was a scholar. And so, as is even today we find that the teachers travel to find students. The teachers travel to find students. Because it's mentioned in Bengali that Dure jamai matai chakla, ghore jamai mukhe lati. That means that when you come from a distant place, Dure jamai, matai chaki, they put an umbrella on your head. Ghore jamai. But if the son-in-law lives at home, ghore jamai. If the son-in-law lives with the wife's parents, that means. If the son-in-law lives with the wife's parents in the wife's home, it's called Ghore Jamai. Ghore Jamai. Jamai? Yes. Ghore Jamai, Mukhe Lati. If he opens his mouth, they hit him with a bamboo stick. So you can't remain a Ghore Jamai for preaching. You have to go to other places. So Mahaprabhu, he was not that he was Ghore Jamai, but anyway, we're just kind of adding a little bit of a spice, mashallah. So Mahaprabhu, he went to Bangladesh, Rajshahi, Keturi, Padma River, and stayed there. He said to Loki Devi Sachi Mata before he left, I will be gone for a few days. He said to Loki Devi, you look after your mother. I'll be gone for a few days. And he was away for 3 months. 3 months. And Loki Devi, she couldn't tolerate. She would simply cry at night. She wouldn't tell anyone how pained she was with the absence of Prabhu. But at night she would simply cry all night. Lie and simply cry. And then she couldn't tolerate it and more. And so she went to the bank of Ganga, Loki Devi, and meditating on the Mahaprabhu's Sri Kamal Charan, the lotus seed of Sri Gaurashunda, she simply entered into her eternal abode. She returned to her eternal abode, associating with Mahaprabhu and Loki Devi. So when he returned from Gaya, and another interesting phenomenon is that, could you imagine you go on a work trip for a few months and then your wife passes away, you come back and then, is that not the first thing you're going to hear about? But Mahaprabhu came back and he was greeted by relatives and friends. He took bath in Ganga, took prasad, and then he was sitting, chatting, chewing on the beetle, and he was making jokes about Bangladesh accent, and then people were chatting, and for many hours. And no one even mentioned that Loki Devi left the world. No one even mentioned. And then everyone gradually was leaving, and then Gaurashunda asked Shachi Devi, why your face so black? And she couldn't even respond. She couldn't even respond. And then the devotee said that your Rocky Devi has attained the Supreme Lord. So then initially Mahaprabhu was a little, he was emotionally affected. Emotionally affected. Like Krishna was emotionally affected when he heard about the death of Ugrasena. So this is natural, not that this is Maya. Even the Supreme Lord just demonstrates such emotions. So I was talking about my father departing. So even though I knew that we've had so many fathers, but still, not that we're not going to be emotionally. But the event, I remember my father was there, and we had a big family, and he was saying before leaving his body, oh, if I got a chance, I would do it again. He was saying, if I got a chance, I would do it again. So probably he is doing again. Probably is doing again, but more progressive because we're able to engage in Krishna service in so many ways. But this is Bohoni Mega Titani Janamani. We just simply go on, and different Vayurgandha Nivashaya, just like in 13th chapter of Gita, and here Devahuti explains it. Subsequently, the transmigration will be explained in detail, the science. In Gita it is explained that Vayurgandha Nivashaya Grihitvatani Samyani, just like the wind, Vayurgandha Niva. The different fragrances. If you're walking on the street, you go past the rubbish place, then you smell, or then you go past the florist or the flowers, and then you smell, or you go past where they're cooking, the frying. Shamusha pakoda. For me, it's always a fascinating phenomena to watch on the station, how they have a whole assembly line of making samosas, on the station. A little stool and one of them making that. And then another guy and another guy throwing in the and then people are just standing there eating. Yeah. Where were we before samosas on the station? Oh yeah, Vayurgandha. So the fragrance, thank you. Vayurgandha Niva. The fragrance. So it's not actually, the wind is not actually, it's simply carrying. The wind is simply carrying the aroma. But what happens is you just experience the aroma, but it almost completely inundates the wind. Completely. So that this is like the accepting the different identities. Based on that conception that you have, that I am this, I am that. It's just like a fragrance in the wind, which pollutes the consciousness, the identity, and we think that I am that, I am this body. Oh, I forgot to ask. Oh, sorry. How many? How many South Indians present today? Please. How many ladies here today? We're foolish, but we're not that foolish. But just see, even sitting in the Bhagavatam class, and we think I'm South Indian. So this is very powerful, and on the basis of this identity, it takes us to the next body. Srattam chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha. You get a certain type of srattam, ear, chakshu, eye, rasanam, tongue, granam, nose, sparshanam, sense of touch. Adishtaya mana chaham, adishtaya mana chaham. Based on that conception of who you are. Based on that conception of who you are. You immediately assume material nature provides that type of body for your subtle identity to function. And so you whatever your consciousness is, that you get that type of body, according to the state of the mind, according to the desires, And one simply, just like the wind, you're from one to Brahmanda Brahmate. You just wander. Sometimes in the heavenly planets, sometimes in the hellish planets, and wander, and you, whatever the body. So the body is given according to the conception, and then when you receive the body, you become further conditioned. Already you're awarded that body, and then when you occupy that body and begin to enjoy it, you become more bewildered. So much so that you're preparing your next body. This is mohitam. Na abhijanati. And therefore we completely forget our relationship with the Lord. Na abhijanati. Mamabhyam paramabhyam, who is beyond the influence of the modes. This is the conditioned nityabhada we are discussing. No hope. Mama maya duratyaya. Mama maya duratyaya. And there's so many varieties of body. You'd like to try something new? Hey, we got a new body for you. What about just a little bit? What's that like? What would it be like as a fish? What would it be like as a dolphin? How would it be like this, as that? And you can try it. You know. And ultimately it all comes down to the same thing. Aha nidravai moitun samanna etat pashuvinnaranum. It's the same. Aha nidravai moitun, which is pleasurable but temporary. And that's the suffering in this existence. You become conditioned. You're in that body, you think it's you, you have a limited field to enjoy, and then you become, because there's nothing else, you become attached to that, but that happiness cannot satisfy the soul because what is that? Bogaship. Shamshpashija bhavatukuyona eva adi antavanta kunteya. Adi, that type of happiness, it is antavat. It's not permanent. It's very temporary. It comes and very quickly it evaporates. The happiness in this material world. Before we get it, it looks, whoa, so nice. Just like when you're searching for a hotel on the internet, and they show, and you click on pictures, and you look at the rooms, nice soft cushions, and clean, and nice clean bathrooms, and on the internet all the pictures. But when you get there, so it's the meditation, manoratena, but when you're meditating on these things, that's where the real enjoyment is. But when you actually, when you experience it, it's always disappointing. It's always disappointing. And hardly any of your hopes are fulfilled. Durashaya. They remain unfulfilled. And you're just thinking about when I can get it again. Even before it's finished. When can I get it again? Because it doesn't, because it's not actually satisfying the real hunger of the Atma. So what a predicament. So what to do? We have to hear. We have to hear. Anyetavamajananta shuttvamevam upashite. Chapi chati tarantevam mritu shuti parayanaha. In the 13th chapter of Gita, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that there are those who are ajanataha, in ignorance. However, Krishna recommends that srutvan eva upashite japi chati taranti eva. By hearing srutva, srutva ebhya means hearing from others. Srutva ebhya. When you hear from others, srutva ebhya upashite, then that can inspire you to begin to worship Sri Hari. But apart from that process of hearing from others, you will never come to this conclusion. Krishna said, Toma Krishna tite para, Toma shakati ache, Amito kando, Krishna boli, Taitava pache. Krishna said, Toma Krishna tite para. We cannot on our own, we'll never begin to worship Sri Hari. It's only by associating with those who are worshipping Sri Hari and hearing from them. I remember I was in college, and I was taking the prasadam at our restaurant. I wasn't really a devotee, but I was taking the prasadam, and then I saw a notice that the devotees wanted somebody from the college where I was studying to assist in organizing a prasadam club. They needed a student to register the club, be the chairman, and get the facility, and then they would come and distribute prasadam. So for some unknown, I kind of saw that sign, and it affected me. I kind of felt guilty. I'm coming here all the time taking the prasadam, I should do something in return. So whatever reasons, but I decided to volunteer. Of course, that opportunity is only the Vaishnava Kripa. They're creating the opportunity for you to serve Mahaprabhu. They are serving, and then you help us. This is the Vaishnava Kripa. You help away. This is Parampara. Serving is like we were discussing the other evening, His Holiness Jagataka Swami. So many orders from Prabhupada. So what does it mean to follow? You just help him in fulfilling those orders. That's his mercy. He gives you Krishna by giving you the seva that he's been given. This is Parampara connection. And so fortunately we decided to help. And then I remember I was there, I would help, the devotees would come, I would open the room, and students would come. And then for some reason I kind of felt like more affiliated with the devotees rather than the students, so I would also help serve the prasad. And then after everyone finished, then I would take prasad, and then there was one devotee there. He was actually pujari from the temple. And because, pujari, but he wanted opportunity for preaching, so he would go once a week for this college program. And then I was sitting taking prasad, and that devotee, the whole time I was taking the prasad, he sat beside me, and he simply would, in my ear, right in my ear, he would just talk, and I'm there. It's kind of like a captured audience, I couldn't really go anywhere. And he said, just constantly, just right in my ear. But even what he was saying was interesting, because he'd been in Vrindavan many years as a pujari, so he wasn't really talking about Gitu Pradesh, he was just talking about Vrindavan. But still I'm remembering that now after 35 years. Because that sound, it penetrates. The Krishna Kotha, it penetrates. And then also regarding the hearing, awakening. Because I would go to the college, and it would end at 3 p.m., my college, and I was on a push bike. I would ride through the center of town. Another illusion, I was kind of thinking I'm the king of this town. On my push bike, riding through Prabhupada said that the little frog is the elephant comes to bathe. And the frog is saying, yeah, this is my place. He's standing there, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is my place. The frog is standing there. He begins to bloat his chest. And then the elephant comes, the elephant just stands on him. So just like that, we're thinking we're so important. But as I was riding through the center of the city, and every afternoon at that time, after serving the prasadam in the restaurant, a few devotees would go on the Harinam, Sankirtan, around the city. And so every afternoon I would hear the cartels. And also, it affected me. Because it reminded me. So this is, just like in the case of Prahlad Maharaj. When he was very young, 5 years old. And he's preaching to the other students at school. Anyone here 5? Any 5-year-olds? The 5-year-olds are playing next door, huh? What's your age? 12. So 5, you can imagine 5. And Prahlad is speaking, Kumare Acharet Pragya Dharman Bhagavatam-SB3.29.3. But from the very beginning, 5 years old, one should begin our Dharma Bhagavatam. And then the teachers were saying that, and Hiranyakashipu was asking, where do you learn all this? He's only 5 years old. And Hiranyakashipu is chastising Sanda and Amarka. He's chastising. Actually, in the Shinga chapter, that's he coming. We're going to, if we get opportunity, we can go into full detail. Sanda and Hiranyakashipu is chastising. I paid so much money, you Brahmins, to train him in diplomacy, in these different things, Nanda, and how to deal with enemies, how to negotiate, how to all of these diplomatic and political. And here he's taken he's taken up the philosophy of the enemy. And Sunda Anamarka said, we didn't teach this. We didn't teach this. And then, well, where did he learn this? And then they suspect that maybe some Vaishnavas in disguise are coming into the college. Just like our college preaching in India, we don't go in dhoti. Our preachers go in disguise. They even enroll like other students. Like spies. Spies. And they enroll and then they integrate and then gradually they preach like that. and then explained how Prahlad got all that Dibogyan and enlightenment at 5 years old. So when the Hiranyakashipu, he had overtaken the universe and he had pushed all of the demigods out of their posts, and he was occupying. He was controlling the wind, the seas, the material energy. He was controlling personally all of the functions of the demigods, and all the demigods were kicked out of their posts. That's how powerful he was. He controlled all of the demigods except Brahma and Lord Shiva. And Narad Muni mentions that even I also was in a situation where I was having to follow him. And so then Hiranyakashipu went for austerities, and the demigods, they thought now's a chance to attack the demons and regain our position. So they attacked the demons and they were victorious, and then they captured the wife of Hiranyakashipu, Kayadu. At that time she was pregnant with Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. And the demigods were thinking, just see, what a Rakshasa, what a demon. And his seed is in the womb of this lady. So at least they didn't kill her. Nowadays they just kill her. But at least they thought, we'll wait till the child is born and then we'll kill him. So that we won't have another Hiranyakashipu, like father, like son, a chip off the old block. A chip off the old block. We don't want another one like that. So then Narad came and said, no. The child in his womb is not a demon. The child in his womb is a great devotee. And therefore you shouldn't kill this child or harm this mother. So the demigods, because they're very pious, they accepted the words of Narad Muni. They circumambulated Kayadu, and then they left. And then, having nowhere to go, Narad Muni, he gave shelter to the wife of Hiranyakashipu, Kayadu, and he took her to his ashram. And as is the standard behavior of the ashram bashis, every day there is regular Bhagavat Kutha, Nitta Bhagavat Sevaya. And so Narad Muni, he's speaking every day on the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And Kayadu also is there, but because she was simply in anxiety, worrying about when her husband will return, she was not able to fully assimilate the messages of Sri Narad Muni. But Prahlad Maharaj, who was in her womb, he heard everything. He heard everything. And in this way he became fully enlightened, just by hearing from Narad Muni, even without seeing. Actually, this is Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha is facilitated by hearing. Even Prahlad didn't see Narad Muni. He didn't take mantra, dikha from Narad Muni. We're never any description that subsequently there's meetings between Narad and Prahlad Maharaj. That is the only connection, when he was in the womb and he heard from Narad Muni. And in this way, Narad Muni is his guru. And this is our parampara. This is the meaning of our parampara. It is a parampara based on Dibogyan. Dibogyan. One line coming from Lord Brahma of Dibogyan. This is the parampara. And when you connect, when you follow those teachings and then you distribute, you're in the parampara. Yeah. And the Diksha also is there. Diksha is there because the Diksha is official connection. And Diksha also helps us to follow the Shiksha more seriously. But essentially it is hearing and accepting the teachings which connects one. This is in the case of Prahlad Maharaj. And so the power of hearing is so important. So therefore the people the people that are unaware. And they will remain unaware unless they are informed. And therefore Srimad Mahaprabhu, one day he called Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. After already beginning the Sankirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur, where Mahaprabhu would... 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9:05. So already the Sankirtan was being performed in the house of Srivas Thakur. The Sankirtan was being performed. And the devotees were with Mahaprabhu relishing. Mahaprabhu was ordered by Srila Ishvara Puri Prabhupada at the time of his initiation in Gaya that Nache Gao Bhakti Shangi Koro Sankirtan. Nache, dance, Gao, sing. Nache Gao, Bhakti Shangi, in the association of the devotees. Koro Sankirtan, do Sankirtan, congregational chanting. Mahaprabhu was ordered, Nache, dance. Nache, Gao, sing, Bhakti Shangi, Koro Sankirtan. And so in this way Mahaprabhu, every night he was performing the Sankirtan with the devotees in the house of Srivas Thakur, the Antaranga Bhaktivan, his most intimate associates. But the extensive preaching was not initiated. And then Mahaprabhu, in fact, those kirtans in the house of Srivas Thakur, they were performed with the closed doors. And even people were trying to get in. They were trying to get in and they were not permitted. And even some people were removed. Just like the mother of Srivas Thakur. She wanted to see Mahaprabhu dancing. She wanted to experience. And the kirtan was going, she was hiding in the basket. And then Mahaprabhu suddenly stopped the kirtan. Ananda Pachino. I'm not getting the bliss. An unqualified person has snuck in and is here. And then they found her in a basket and quickly removed her. So this was the mood at that time. And others were banging on the door trying to get in. That the indiscriminate preaching had not begun. And then, why that is, there's a whole other aspect which we can discuss another time. And then one day, Mahaprabhu, he called Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Shunu Shunu Nityananda, Shunu Haridas, Shavatra Amara Gai Koro Prakash. Shavatra Amara Gai, my order, Koro Prakash. You reveal my order, Shavatra, everywhere. This is preaching in its essential form. What is preaching? This is preaching. Shavatra Amara Gai Koroho Prakash. Everywhere we have to reveal, we have to project Koroho Prakash. We have to reveal Prakash. What is the word in English? It's hard to make it known. We have to illuminate, project. What's the word for Prakash in English? I'm not really sure. Illuminate, it's like to shine a light on, Prakash. But Prakash means not just shine a light on, to actually manifest a product. To publish extensively. Prakash, make it brilliant. Make it shine. That's Prakash. You make it, project. Amara Gai, my orders. Because the people do not know, because they're not being told. Prati gore gore giye, koro ebika. And then what is my order? This order. Prati gore gore giye, koro ebika. You beg. Mahaprabhu followers, we become beggars. This is the topmost position. I'm begging on behalf of Mahaprabhu. We see that after the Dikha Anushthan, devotees, you see in Mayapur, they're all standing there. That's not how it should be done. You go outside. Not that already the devotees, that's not begging. You go outside and you're insulted and you're spat on. And then occasionally you find someone who, that's the beggar. You become my beggar. You go to every house and you sell and you beg them. You beg them. You're beggar. You beg. You go house to house, generally the sadhu, they go for bhikha. That means give something to eat. This is not Mahaprabhu's followers' style of begging. Not I'm hungry, give me to eat. It is our begging is Bhaja Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Shikha. This is our begging. You worship Krishna, you beg this, you fall at their feet, you beg this. He's falling at the feet. I'm begging you. He's falling at your feet. I'm falling at your feet. You take it. This is the preaching. You beg them to. And Mahaprabhu himself, personally, in his preaching style, he wakes up when the sun is arising in the east. All the devotees, he takes them with him. Into the villages and the towns. He's taking the devotees with him. And he is doing kirtan. This is Mahaprabhu's preaching style. It's very sweet. Here we're hearing about they have to be impressing, make an impression on them. Mahaprabhu's style is very sweet. Mahaprabhu's preaching style, you cannot refuse. This tatai bhajiloko kol mridanga. This is poetry. Thakur Bhaktivinoda. He's using the words to make the sound. Tatai bhajiloko tatai gane ghana tahe jajiroro ghana tahe jajiroro. The cartels are chiming. Preme dala shonara anga. Jodane nupura bhaji, preme dhala shonara anga. The golden form, the shonara anga, the golden limbs of Gaur-Sundur are preme dhala. Dhala means quivering. Quivering. Just like when we're sometimes extremely hungry. You like fasting, and then you do something and you like that, dhala, praying with love of God. Early in the morning, Mahaprabhu, when he's hearing the kirtan, he cannot contain the feelings, the emotions of love when he's hearing the sankirtan. And he's dancing, his body is quivering, preme with love. Preme dala shonara anga, chodane nupura bhaji. And around his ankles, the ankle bells are chiming. Would you like to see? Anyone here interested to see Gaur-Sundur as he's with the Antaranga Bhaktagan through the groves and the forests of Navadip villages as he's doing kirtan? Would you like to see that? So if you desire, then you can see. Because it's happening. But because we're an illusion, we cannot see it. Nitya Lila. But you can see by hearing. Mukunda Madhava Yadavari Bolena Bolore Badana Bori Mukunda Madhava is Mukunda Madhava as the ankle bells are chiming. Yadavari Bolena Bolore Bolena Michinida Boshe Gedore Date Viboshe Shadirasha. You wasted the night. Nida Gelo in illusion. And then the day, Viboshe Shadirasha, you're just looking after your body all day. You see the ladies take a long time. So much coconut oil is needed every day long. Sharira shash is pampering the body all day. But when the body is thrown on the funeral pyre, that long hair, that's the first thing that is engulfed in flames. So what was the use? Years and years. And what's the result? All that effort. But the Prabhu is also comb in the back pocket. Not you guys, but you see, whenever they walk past the window, out comes the comb. And then Facebook, the real me is, this is not the real me. The real me is on my Facebook page. Oh. Now it's instead of looking after the body all day, it's on Facebook, creating the illusory you, projecting the you illusory. Not, this is what I want to be. My real life. Look at my Facebook page. Oh. I was taking a flight recently in Bangladesh, North Bangladesh. And oftentimes you see from simple background, they make some money and like, boom, the ego is as big as a football field. Boom. This simple background, they make some money. Like, boom. This guy will get on the plane, a little plane, and like, he's got like, like to have the stick, the selfie stick. Like every 3-4 feet, he'd stop and take with the plane behind him. A little closer to the plane. Now I'm stepping on the steps. Now I'm entering the plane. Here's the evidence. It's a fact. I flew. I didn't take bus. I flew on the plane. It's on my Facebook page. So this is life. We're wasting our life. Wasting our life. And Emon Dulab Manava Deho. The Dulab Manav Deho. It's so rare. Emon Dulab. It's special. Well, so many bodies you get, so many senses, everything. But now you've been Emon Dulab Manav Deho. You've got this rare human body. Paya, you've received it. Ki Koda Bhavana Keho. Emon Dulab Manav Deho. Paya Ki Koda Bhavana Keho. Which, if you properly utilize, you can awaken your feelings of love for Krishna. If you properly utilize the process, you can actually revive your feelings of love for Krishna in this human life. But Mahaprabhu, why are you not doing it? What is your move? Where is your consciousness? There's nothing. It's just these temporary things, one after another. What time's the next meal? Where can I get some sense gratification? Where can I find a place to charge my phone? The consciousness is just simply one. Absorbed in these temporary things. Ebina bachile jashodashuta. Chadame puri bela. Ebina bachile jashodashuta. You're not worshipping the Lord of the heart. So in this way, Mahaprabhu's mission is to impress upon the conditioned souls. Mahaprabhu's style of preaching is simply demonstrating. He's performing kirtan. He's not just ordering you go. He's performing. He's demonstrating the bhakti ras, relishing the bhakti ras, and in this way, impressing upon it, inspiring the people. And so, even such Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Andolan, that even from such degraded place, the suburbs of Melbourne, by the Sankirtan process of hearing, one can has the opportunity of awakening eternal consciousness as a servant of Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Andolan. Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. You want to take questions? Because that's an interesting thing to do. No question.